Testing this.
And share
Can everybody hear? Yeah, over the music.
picture, song.
We're going to get started. This is sort of like an informal gathering to celebrate all that we are as one Medaille, that we're made up of many different communities, many different people, many different individuals, and just coming together as a collective whole. I'm Lori Quigley, your Vice President for Academic Affairs, and I'm going to start off this evening by sharing a little bit about who I am, just to get things rolling, because I think we have a list of faculty and students who want to share, and then we're going to truly leave it as an open mic for anybody who wants to come up. We have lots of different activities as well. I do know that there is a sign-in sheet for students on the table back there, and students are also welcome to take any of the stickers that you want. You don't have to take just one, because I think we have more than one if you really want more than one. Faculty would appreciate your email if you'd like to consider joining them in a new group called Intercultural Dialogues. Did I get that right? Okay. And what I like about that is that's going to probably mirror some of our new curriculum coming up in the future, so that's exciting for me. And then at the same time, please, if you feel comfortable, just stand up whenever you want to, grab something to drink. I know there's things to make hot chocolate. You know, if you feel like going over and adding some artwork or a few words to the butterflies on the butterfly table, that would be a good thing. Then at some point, we'll also take a little bit of a break to have some refreshment, where you can take some butterfly cookies and decorate them however you want to decorate them. How does that sound? What you've been listening to, that you can hear sort of behind me, is music from a CD by Joanne Shenandoah, who is Oneida. She's one of the members of the Six Nations communities in New York State. And you're listening to a CD called Matriarch Song. And this gives a little bit of background about who I am, because I grew up on one of the Seneca Nation territories, my mother's Seneca. So that's my perspective that I'm going to share a little bit as we begin. And what I'm going to begin with is what we refer to as the Ganonyo, or the Thanksgiving Address. And some people refer to it as a prayer, but it's not a prayer. Ganonyo basically means the words that come before all others. So in our Native communities, whenever we begin any kind of gathering, we begin with these words that come before all others. And our elders basically have taught us that every day we're supposed to wake up in the spirit of Thanksgiving and really recite the Thanksgiving address in a spirit of gratitude. And we're supposed to end every day in that same spirit. I don't do that every day. I should, but I don't. Okay? Actually, if you were to take the entire address in either Seneca, Cayuga, Onondaga, Oneida, Mohawk, Tuscarora, any of the Six Nations, and to stand up and recite it orally, which is what they do, I'm not going to read a brief excerpt of it, it can take anywhere between 2 hours to a full day to recite. But I'm giving you the very Reader's Digest abridged version this evening, okay? Because otherwise we'll be here until tomorrow. And also the English version as well. At the end of each stanza, if you could just think these words: together our minds are one. And that's typically what the speakers of the Longhouse will say as they're reciting this. And they'll get everybody to sort of chime in with the affirmation, together our minds are one, which means we're all agreeing with the sentiment of Thanksgiving or thanks that's being expressed. Mohawks, at the end of theirs, not only do they say that, they say toe. Okay, Senecas, we say yo. Okay, which means you're welcome, actually. All right, and it's just a little bit different. So I'll recite that for you. And again, I took 2 hours worth to a day's worth and narrowed it down to just this much. Okay, so at the end of each group that I mentioned, again, just think, together our minds are one. Here we go. wear my glasses because I'm getting old. To be a human being is an honor, and we offer thanksgiving for all the gifts of life. Mother Earth, we thank you for giving us everything we need. Thank you, deep blue waters around Mother Earth, for you are the force that takes thirst away from all living things. We give thanks to green grasses that feel so good against our bare feet, for the cool beauty you bring to Mother Earth's floor. Thank you, good foods from Mother Earth, our sustainers, for making us happy when we are hungry. Fruits and berries, we thank you for your color and sweetness. We are thankful to good medicine herbs for healing us when we are sick. Thank you, all the animals in the world, for keeping our precious forest clean. All the trees in the world, we are thankful for the shade and warmth you give us. Thank you, all the birds in the world, for singing your beautiful songs for all to enjoy. We give thanks to you, gentle four winds, for bringing clean air for us to breathe from the four directions. Thank you, Grandfather Thunder Beings, for bringing rains to help all living things grow. Elder Brother Sun, we send thanks for shining your light and warming Mother Earth. Thank you, Grandmother Moon, for growing full every month to light the darkness for children and sparkling waters. We give you thanks, twinkling stars, for making the night sky so beautiful and for sprinkling morning dewdrops on the plants. Spirit protectors of our past and present, we thank you for showing us ways to live in peace and harmony with one another. And most of all, thank you, Great Spirit, for giving us all these wonderful gifts so we will be happy, and together our minds are one. Thank you, Mandy, for helping out. This is just Iroquois and beadwork, and I don't know if we want to play the next music. It's not this one, so we don't really have a lot of silence in between, and we're playing it soft enough so that when others come up to the mic, we can actually hear you over the music. So I hope this works. We'll see. So at this point, I'm going to invite Alice Villasenor up to start us off with her one thing.
Thank you for getting us started and for agreeing to MC today. So I've already shared, I'm so happy to see some of my students here. I've already shared with them that I'm going to be sharing, not my own words, I'm going to be sharing the words of Cesar Chavez, right? The organizer of Latina people, or I guess we'd say Latinx people now, right? And actually, I'd like to thank my husband, Jameson, you, for inspiring me to incorporate this into every single one of my classes this semester. Thank you, Jameson. This is just, again, a short section from a piece that Chavez, a speech that he made. And it's actually a section about the melting pot versus salad bowl theory, which we discussed in one of our meetings of our intercultural dialogue group, right? And I thought it would be fitting for this occasion, so I'm going to share. We all know of the so-called melting pot theory. It is taught in the schools, preached from the pulpit, and proclaimed by politicians. This country is not a melting pot anymore. It used to be more of a melting pot, when the bulk of the immigrants were white Europeans. But with large numbers of third world people, particularly Asians, Latin Americans, and Africans coming to our shores, it is no longer possible or desirable to anglicize the waves of new immigrants. We sometimes refer to those who oppose the struggles of minorities and people in the third world as the, quote, super Americans. They claim the melting pot theory still applies. They would like all of us to be melted, poured, and cast, and cloned into the all-American boy and girl. So we will all come out looking like Pat Boone or Anita Bryant. They would like all of us to buy their argument that the strength of our country is in its conformity to one ethnic and cultural heritage. But there are some of us Americans who share a different vision of what our nation is. The strength of America is not in her conformity. We believe the strength of America is in her diversity. Our country is admired around the world, not as the, quote, new right claims, because of her bombers and nuclear arsenal. We are admired for our Bill of Rights, and especially for the First Amendment, which many of you have noted has been on my door all semester. I'm happy to talk more about that at any time, which protects diversity. Let us also be admired for our cultural and linguistic pluralism. For this country to continue to be great, we need to include people, but not strip them of their cultural values in the process. I can eat tortillas and still be an American. Our country needs to understand that.
Thank you very much. It's been such a long time since I've read any of Chavez's work, so yeah, what a treasure. Is Lindsay Knob here? And if I mispronounced it, let me know.
It's Knob.
Is it what?
It's Knob.
Knob.
Yeah.
My name is Lindsay Nab. I'm a sophomore here at Medaille, and I do a lot of poetry and creative writing. And the poem that I'm going to be reading today, I wrote, and it kind of is about diversity in not exactly a cultural aspect, but kind of a greater variety than that. It's called Build Something Greater. This is for the honest and brutal baby girls, the blunt and broken sex freaks, the sidewalk chalk kids, the monster chuggers, 7th grade sluggers, the rich princess with the homeless house, and the becoming extrovert who won't let the truth out. This is for the high school thriver, the emotional eater, and the homework cheater, the stay-at-homers, the lost and lonely internal folders, the writer with a broken wrist, the fighter with a silicone fist, the independent soul with a fishbowl world, and the doubtful optimist who can't find the difference between drowning other people in positivity and finding some for himself. This is for the dad with 3 daughters and the mom with daughters. This world is going to collapse, and from the rubble you will find the opportunity to build something greater. This is for the 26-year-old PhD working part-time at Walmart. This is for the kid who's too smart to be a musician, for the aunt who's learning to listen, and for the closeted 18-year-old who just wants to breathe. This is for the stone-cold hands learning to serenade with a guitar, for the unfaceable truth keeping a boy at the bar, for the teacher's pet who has no parents, the hell-bound Christian who can't bear this anymore, the astronomer trying to scrape his soul off of the floor. This is for the unmistakable tone in I don't love you like I thought I did, for the spaces between the walls that I'm speaking in. Build something greater.
Absolutely fabulous. I think we have a prelude author in our midst, okay? Something to think about. And that piece too, if you're willing to even share it further, there's really a lot of unpacking of content in there. Seriously. So, thank you. Brandon Leone? Is Brandon here?
Yeah, I'm good.
Wait, so I decided to take a little bit different approach with this, just like Lindsay did. Instead of focusing on more cultural diversity, I decided to go with LGBTQ diversity. So this is a letter I just very recently, as in this morning, early hours, was having a bit of trouble deciding what I wanted to do, and I was kind of going back and forth between a couple ideas, so I kind of put this together at about 4 in the morning. So, here it goes. Dear me, right now you're young, you're only 5, and you are so confused. You know you are different, but you can't seem to figure out why. We'll have that answer in 14 years. I know that 14 years is a long time and a lot happens, but you needed to wait those 14 years. With that time, you will understand why puberty was so difficult, why you would stand in the mirror and the only feeling you had was hatred and being uncomfortable in your body. There was no connection. You will dream about the day where you could have a beard and an Adam's apple. You still won't have one when you're 20, but I'm hoping we will soon. You will eventually get through high school, which was an amazing accomplishment that you thought you would never see. You go into college being determined to have so many friends and finally make it better for yourself. And you do. You will learn to love being in school so you can be surrounded with your friends, but they are really like your second family. You make it through freshman year and you are so proud, and you should be. We accomplished a lot that year. Sophomore year is when your life will change. Remember that I told you something big will happen in 14 years? Well, it happens this year in November. You finally decide that you need to figure out why you feel this way, and you do. This night will change everything. You will discover a word that sums up how you felt for your entire life. Everything will make sense. Hold on, I have to flip here. You will discover that you are transgender. I know that word may be scary, but it's really not. At first, you will be scared. You'll ask what this will mean for the rest of your life, but you don't know. You just know that this is who you are. You begin to obsessively watch videos about others who share the same feelings but are going on their own journeys. Some are much farther along, and you can't wait for that day to come to be where they are. Thinking of names was difficult. There were so many to choose from. You had one all picked out, and you will really like it, but over time, you will begin to despise it. The right name will occur to you when you least expect it, and you'll know when. All you know is that Tucker is an amazing name and you want it. You'll eventually put that as your middle name. You'll begin to feel guilty knowing that you are hiding this from your parents and your friends. I know that coming out was so scary, but you managed to do it, and you should be proud of that. You will first tell your friends, and I know how nervous you are. You were so scared that you were going to lose them, but they don't leave. If that makes it easier, then do it now. I know that this secret was getting too much for you to handle, and you needed to tell your parents. I'm sorry I waited so long, but I was just so scared. You knew that saying it out loud wasn't an option, so you wrote up a letter, and you probably could have done a better job, but you did it anyways. Your parents still love you, and person by person, it gets easier. One place that you couldn't feel free just yet was at school. You decided that you did not want to live a lie for any moment in the new year. So on January 21st, 2017, you told everyone. You will be amazed at the responses and so thankful that you have such amazing people around you. You'll finally start feeling comfortable. You'll stop trying to adapt to your body, and eventually your body will start adapting to you because you are amazing, and it gets so much better. The sadness in your eyes will lift and will be replaced with small suns. You will smile more, and you will love taking selfies. This isn't an easy road, but you will be so happy, and your happiness is worth it. Love, 20-year-old you. P.S. You will have amazing hair, and smiling looks really good on you.
A true celebration. Mary Lou.
Trip over that. I think there's something else on the list that I thought I was going to share, but this morning I woke up and I knew I had to read one of my favorite poems from Jalaluddin Rumi, a poet associated with the mystic tradition of Sufism, which is a branch of Islam. And this is called The Guest House. You can see I use this book a lot. So, as things flutter out, try not to notice that. This is called The Guest House. Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
Thank you. The next one, Val. I think he's over here. Val Macer.
A video to show